Hello, my fellow minor league nerds, and welcome to our newest Mostly Forgotten Teams episode. This episode is about the AA International League franchise that played in Akron, Ohio in 1920 as the Numatics. Ooh, pneumatics? Like pneumatic tubes? Well, most likely pneumatic tires, given that Akron was the tire capital of the world. But they spelled it without a P. Almost all modern sources list them as the Akron Buckeyes. But local newspapers at the time called them the Akron Numatics, without the P, with some papers outside of Ohio calling them the Buckeyes. Before the Numatics or Buckeyes began play, Akron had a long history of baseball, with the first professional team, the Acorns, taking the field in the Ohio State League for one season in 1887. They were followed by the Akrons in 1889. In 1890, they moved over to the Tri-State League for one season. The Summits played in the Ohio-Michigan League in 1893. In 1895, the city was represented in the Interstate League by a team that simply played as Akron. The Ohio-Pennsylvania League existed between 1905 and 1912, with Akron being represented by the Buckeyes in 1905, the Rubbernecks in 1906, and the appropriately named Champs from 1907 to 1911, seeing them win the league pennant in 1908, 1909, 1910, and 1911. In 1912, the Rubbermen represented the city in the Central League, and in 1913, the Giants played in the third version of the Interstate League. In 1915, the Buckeye League played its lone season with the Rubbernecks representing Akron. On November 6, 1919, the city was awarded the rights to the Binghamton Bingos International League franchise during a league meeting with Charles Skelly and Frank Doyle representing the city. Some modern sources report that the team came to Akron from Newark, but newspapers at the time reported that Newark was transferred to Syracuse and Binghamton to Akron, with 13 former Bingos players moving with the team. The Bingos had had two rather successful seasons in the circuit, finishing in second place in 1918 and fourth in 1919. Shortly after the team was awarded, a public stock sale was held in Akron, and shares sold like crazy, passing $100,000 in less than 2 weeks. And it wasn't just Akron men who were buying up stock. Akron women got behind the sale as well. Dick Hoblitzel, aka Hobby, was hired as a player manager. He had a 12-year career with Cincinnati in the National League and Boston in the American League. They held spring training in Hot Springs, Arkansas. When the team opened the season on the road with a 9-2 victory over the Jersey City Skeeters, they had several big league veterans on the squad other than Hoblitzel. Third baseman Bill Purtell played 5 seasons with the White Sox and Red Sox, as well as right-hander Joseph Finnerman, who played 4 seasons with Philadelphia in the National League and New York and Detroit in the American League. Their home opener was a 7-4 victory against Jersey City on May 5th. They played their home games at League Park, which was also referred to as Numatics Park, which was located at Carroll and Beaver Streets. It was the former location of Goodrich Field. A new grandstand for about 7,500 fans was built, with additional bleacher seating being installed as well. It was designed and constructed by Osborne Construction Company, now Osborne Engineering. They were responsible for the designs of League Park in Cleveland, Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C., Tiger Stadium, Braves Field, and the renovations of Comiskey Park that took place around the same time. There was some concern that their home opener may have to be postponed by 8 days due to a railroad strike that delayed the delivery of needed supplies for the construction, but luckily that ended up not being necessary. With heavy hitters at every position, Akron started off strong and stayed in the thick of the pennant race, never dropping below 4th place. Their mighty offense was led by America's most famous athlete, football and track superstar Jim Thorpe. The 34-year-old had played 6 seasons in the National League with New York, Cincinnati, and Boston. On June 21st, during a doubleheader against Syracuse, the Numatics had a combined 32 hits, 18 in Game 1 and 14 in Game 2, sweeping the doubleheader 14-9 and 15-4. On July 15th, the National League New York Giants stopped in town to play an exhibition game while traveling from St. Louis to Pittsburgh. The Major League club won the game 10-6. Akron actually lost 2 games that day, as after the exhibition game, they fell 8-6 to the Baltimore Orioles. The Numatics finished the season in 4th place with an 89-62 record, 19 games behind the pennant-winning Orioles, who won their 2nd pennant in a row. They would go on to win 5 more in a row before finishing in 2nd place in 1926. Akron ended the season 23.5 games up on the 5th place Reading Marines. The Numatics would end what would be their only season in the International League with 2 postseason exhibition games a week after the season ended. They defeated the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company team 3-1 on September 26th, and then an all-star team of local industrial players 2-1 the following day. It was a close game, with Akron winning it in the bottom of the 9th. Akron finished in 1st or 2nd in every offensive category. They were 1st in doubles with 303, 1st with a .461 slugging percentage, 1st with 2,378 total bases, as well as 1st with home runs with 101, hitting 21 more than 2nd place Reading. They finished 2nd behind Baltimore with a .305 batting average, runs with 902, and hits with 1,572, and finished tied with Baltimore with 100 triples. Jim Thorpe had an amazing season. In 128 games in the outfield, he led the team with hitting with a .360 average, a .563 slugging percentage, 294 total bases, 15 triples, and 22 stolen bases, tying Bill Webb with 39 doubles. Even though the Numatics were a success, the other 7 teams in the International League were concerned about the added travel costs to and from Akron, which was located 216 miles away from the Buffalo Bisons, their closest opponent. There was also some concern that Akron would not complete the 1921 season due to financial losses. To combat that, in the off-season, team management started a drive to sell 100,000 tickets for the season. The league went as far as to level some demands on the team. They wanted the Numatics to guarantee $300 a day to each visiting team, while the other 7 teams would only have to guarantee $200. They also asked the team to post a $15,000 bond to guarantee that they would complete the season, with none of the other 7 teams needing to do the same. There was also pressure to sell the club to a group from Newark, New Jersey, with other groups from Providence, Rhode Island, and Montreal, Quebec also showing interest in purchasing the team. In the end, during a league meeting on March 4, 1921, the league forced the owners of the Numatics to sell to the Newark group, led by Jack Dunn, for $25,000. The Montreal group offered $16,500 more, but Dunn won out after showing the teams collectively would save $25,000 in railroad fees if the team was moved to Newark. But Akron's owners did not accept the team's fate without a fight. They appealed to baseball commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who, in the end, sided with the International League. He also ruled that they must accept the amount offered by Newark, after asking for Newark to pay the offer made by the Montreal group. Akron next saw a team play in the Class B Central League in 1928 and 1929, returning in 1932 for 7 weeks before relocating to Canton, Ohio, folding a month later. The Akron Yankees then played in the Class C Middle Atlantic League from 1935 to 1941. Professional baseball would not return to Akron until 1997, when the Canton Akron Indians came to town, being renamed the Akron Arrows, later becoming the Akron Rubber Ducks in 2014. Well, my fellow minor league nerds, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for nerding out with me. And as always, be sure to never stop supporting minor league baseball and never stop learning about minor league baseball history.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Data Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick and Corey of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.